Hello everybody, welcome back to Lead Pits Live. We're coming to you from Franklin Park Elementary School. We're in the United Way Community Partnership School, and I want to shout out to them for the great accommodations, especially Angela and everybody who's involved in hosting Lead Pits here for the month of March. We have a fabulous show here today. We get a chance, this interview, we get a chance to talk to some of the great citizens in America who are doing a great job in one of the great companies, the Children's Network of Southwest Florida, taking care of our children in all different ways. And if we didn't have the Children's Network of Southwest Florida, I don't know where we would be in terms of the safety net for our children and keeping them unified with their parents, which is the topic of this show. So without further ado, let's welcome all three of these guests here. We have some unification parents. We have Nicole and Paul, and we also have a unification specialist, I guess we'll call you a staff person for the Children's Network, Ofelia. Welcome to Lead Pits Live, all three of you.
Thank you.
What is your actual title?
So I am a case manager supervisor for the reunifications unit, it's a specialty unit. Great.
And I'll go straight to you on this. When we use the word unification unit, what is the primary purpose of that unit at the Children's Network?
So the specialty unit, we are, by Florida statute, the case has to remain open after a parent and a child is reunified for at least 6 months. So our purpose is to really work very intensely in that home with those families, just make sure that things are successful, that they kind of know how to reach out to the resources, get the help that they need, and that so that, you know, they don't ever see us again. That's the goal.
And you say unified in 6 months. So tell us what happened prior to that, generally speaking, and different children get separated from their parents for various reasons.
Right. So we intervene obviously with good intention in that, but yes, removals do happen. And in those cases, when the parents are removed, they have, typically it's a year to kind of work that case plan. And the case plan is something that's, you know, comprised together. You know, depending on what services they need, it could be mental health related, substance abuse related. It could even be, you know, related to behaviors that their children have that they don't know how to manage. So we just kind of, you know, that case plan, they have about that year to work it, and just kind of depending on how they progress, then they can progress to, you know, unsupervised daytime visits and then eventually overnights. And then the goal obviously ultimately is to be back home together intact.
Which is best for the child.
Best for the whole family, 1000%.
What are some services or support mechanisms that the Children's Network of Southwest Florida provides in that process and after they get unified?
So obviously we have ones outside, resources within the community that we use, but we do have a lot of programs in-house now, which we've talked about before, a parent mentor program. Moms and dads, they're just coaches, kind of, you know, they know what it is, the day-to-day struggle with kids, and just kind of help them make parents great too. We have peer support, peer recovery specialists. So those are, you know, individuals who have overcome that struggle of addiction, and, you know what it takes, and you know, they're there also, they attend meetings, whatever is needed for that parent that's, you know, in that recovery. There's even services available for youth. We have peers for teens. I recently learned of a new program that LSF has, SNAP, where it's from age 6 to 11, and it works with the family as a whole. They do sessions, group sessions with the parents and group sessions with the children simultaneously with like a cognitive behavioral therapeutic approach. So there's a lot available, and that's free of charge.
Okay, so what we're looking at right here is two parents who are now back with their child, and we're also looking at a success story. When you see these are the types of stories that you live for, right?
1000%, yes.
Paul, coming over to you, tell us about your journey to getting back unified with your child, and what was it like working with the Children's Network of Southwest Florida in this process?
So in the beginning, it was a little rough because, you know, the stigmatism of DCF or whatever is like, oh, they're take your children, you know. So the journey in the beginning was hard because I had my guard up. But as I went through it and they gained my trust to them, it's been good. It's been blessing.
So you were thinking you were never going to get your child back? You always wanted your child back with you?
Well, there were so many hurdles, you know, and when you look at the whole picture in itself, it can be overwhelming. But when you start breaking it down a piece at a time, then the journey becomes easier.
Okay, great. So it's been a good experience with it so far. Let's go to Mom over here. Mom, you have a daughter or a son. Who are we talking about right here?
I have 3 children in the home. You know, I have a teenager and 2 toddlers. So it's been definitely a busy schedule, and just filling with counseling, because we're not just the ones affected. DCF and Children's Network have provided so many services, resources that have helped us. I have been reunified since February. And since then, I've still applied those same resources, even though, you know, we don't have to. I choose to, because we have progressed so much. We've grown so much as a family. It's really, they have helped us overcome so many obstacles that we could have never overcome on our own, you know. It's just been an amazing journey with them.
You said 3 children. So 3 children were away from the parents, and now all 3 children are back with the parents. Now, I won't give names and all that, but I want to get a general idea of the ages and that type of thing of the children.
So I have a 16-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and I have a 4-year-old.
Okay.
So my oldest I haven't had for 10 years.
Really?
And my youngest 2, it's been probably it was right under a year that they were placed with family, and before we got them back. So not only did I get reunified with my younger children, I got reunified with my oldest daughter, who I have not been a full-time parent for 10 years with her. So I've truly overcome so much and been able to be more present, a better mother. DCF and Children's Network has been so supportive. I just can't express.
Great story.
Yeah.
Hundreds of children in our community have suffered abuse and neglect, and they desperately need a loving refuge. But there just aren't enough foster homes in Southwest Florida to take them. If you have ever felt called to help kids, then please open your heart and your home as a foster parent. Your help is needed now. Visit childrensnetworkflorida.org today and change a life for good.
Now, listening to this story, I just want to go through the full one-stop shop nature of the Children's Network of Southwest Florida. You have so many various departments. So I'm assuming, you can correct me on this, that when they were separated from their parents, they were maybe in your foster care system, foster home system, and then work through that process and you get them back with their parents. Is that the way it worked?
Correct.
And in her case, she's saying 10 years of being in foster care system?
So not her oldest daughter was not a part of this case specifically. She that was previously. So they were primarily in the custody of their father, that teen. But this was part of the reason why she had not been that present in her life. So when she, kind of did what she needed to do and got better and was able to make those changes for her younger children, that's something that she kind of did on her own, with also gaining back that custody of her oldest daughter.
Talk about what benchmarks these parents have to make or guardians have to make to get unified. It varies from family to family, but just in general.
I mean, really, it's just stability. Like it's really just being accountable, being stable. Are you making those those behavioral changes? So if you're in a time of crisis, are you calling your dealer or are you calling your case manager? If you're, if you deal with anger, when you're triggered, are you reacting to that trigger or are you distancing yourself from that? And, giving yourself space to kind of respond in a healthier way. So it's really just a matter of them being there. The services are one thing, but if they're not in a state of mind to accept those services, receive them, and make those changes needed, then those services are nothing. So it's really just a matter of where they are in their progression in that.
Paul, what is the thing that you think is the biggest factor that contributed to your unification with your child? One. And what was it like that day when your children walked back into under the roof with you?
I think biggest factor for me is God. Like, He's the center of it all. But also surrendering to myself and allowing myself to go through the process that I needed to go through to get my substance abuse under control, you know, to admit that I had one for one, you know, first off, and then seeking the help to fix it, you know, to go through that process. And I'm nervous.
No, you're doing good.
Yeah, so just to go through that process, to surrender
Yourself to the process, admitting where you were, and then moving forward to improve yourself.
Yes, sir.
And at this point right now in your life, you feel that you crossed that hurdle, or is it a lifetime thing that you're constantly working on?
It's a daily thing, absolutely. Trusting in God, surrounding myself by like-minded people who want to, you know, do right by their children, do right by themselves. To have a vision, you know. If you don't have a vision, then you're going to perish.
Now, tell me about that day when they came home, or you picked them up and you knew they were coming under that same roof, and it's a new day, it's a new dawn, a new way forward.
It was the greatest joy. I mean, it was on my son's birthday, so he got what a birthday present to be able to give him, you know, to have him come home on his birthday. It was just, there's not a greater joy. I mean, love for your children, there's not a deeper love, I don't think.
Love it. Nicole, while you were separated from your children, did you still have contact with your children to maintain some type of connection there?
Oh, yes. So we were able to place them with a close family member. So we did video chats, we did supervised visitation, we were able to attend certain functions with the children, first day of school, picture days, you know. So we, as long as we shown that we were willing to do what we needed to do, and that we were stable and responsible emotionally, mentally, you know, DCF was completely supportive of us being able to participate in these activities and being part of, which really helped. I feel it helped us, you know, because your parents, you want to be a part of all of that, right? But I feel like it helped my children more than anything, because that transition was hard on them. You know, we're adults, we're grown, we make our own choices, we make our own mistakes, we got to work hard to make amends, but the children are helpless. So being able to see that constant that they've always had, be there present during those times, it eases their mind, and it really made it easier, that process of separation, to be able to see that we get to be there in their corner, you know. So it just really was us trying to be, or us having to be willing. We had to be willing to look at ourselves. What do we have to do to be there, to be present in their life, to give them a better shot of not having these same struggles, or not having any more trauma or neglect. And, you know, just, it's just been a great journey, and I'm grateful.
Throughout this process, you had a case worker that was assigned to you?
Yeah.
Now would that be you?
No,
okay.
So there's multiple processes,
right,
like different.
Yeah, let me just get to my question. What was that like, that process of working with your various caseworkers? Was that an enjoyable experience? Did y'all bond? It's just constantly.
So I could say it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So of course, in the beginning, there's friction, you know. I feel like in time, I grew a bond with my caseworker, and she was very open, and she always answered her phone. She was quick to respond. She was very involved in saying, hey, what do you need? And in time, I became more and more comfortable. You know, because at first, of course, you're going to have your guard up. So I was sort of, I don't want to fill her in. I don't want to tell her I'm overwhelmed, or this area I might need a little help with. I wanted to do it all on my own. And eventually they showed me they were a safe place to come to, and that they would help me with whatever, you know, me and my children needed. And
that day when they walked into the house, sat on the sofa, looked at your TV, ate up your kitchen table, you were being mom, the children in the back, what was that like? Something you had been hoping for so long.
Just to prove them that I could be a mother, and my kids, you know, I love them. And then, you know, that was a big moment for me. You know, that was just just to prove that my kids are safe and I can be a good mother, you know, to people who, because when they come in, it's something drastic, it's something major, you know, and there's going to be judgments and there's going to be some pushback, but be able to sit there in front of them and say, I can do this, you know, it was a huge accomplishment. Yeah.
Tell us about the collaboration, the partners, the different programs that you have at the Children's Network of Southwest Florida that assist them in that whole process before and after? And do you have processes where people are reunited and then for whatever reason they get ununited again? Just kind of tell us how you put things in place to make sure that the outcomes are what you want them to be.
Yeah. So again, peer recovery and the parent mentor group, we really work very cohesively together. I feel like that's actually kind of expanding that level of cohesion. We are there. I know the mom mentors their group are planning monthly events, and so are the fathers. And now peer recovery and the mentorship program actually want to come together and do a collective kind of monthly event, and that for people in the community, people that have open cases, have had open cases, or just anybody that's had that similar struggle to come in and just kind of expand that community. So we are collaborating quite a bit. It's a really beautiful thing to see. As far as you know, cases where yes, we don't have that successful outcome, you know, for me, you know, we do have that in some cases, and it just kind of lights a fire under me to find and master any and every resource that there is accessible within the community, because you know, I don't fault people for you know, going in that direction. If anything, I question, okay, what could I have done differently also to kind of help change that? So yeah, we're not always going to get the outcome that we want in that, and it really a big piece of it is what's available, the supports and that, and the guidance that you have around you, and another big piece of it is, are you ready to make that change? So
how has this impacted you and your staff working with this couple?
That is like it's honestly very hard to put into words. Seeing this, just, I mean, it moves me, you know, to the extreme. This is exactly why I do what I do. I will say, you know, there was a fatherhood event that we went to recently. Paul was there also, and I had brought up how I don't think that we always consider what we're asking of these parents. I think, you know, if anybody has to make a change in their life, you know, that's a difficult thing to do. And we're asking them to do it. We're demanding that they do it at a time when they weren't necessarily ready, and when their entire world has been flipped upside down. So it's not for the weak. And we recognize, you know, how challenging that is. And so it's just, I commend everybody that I come across that I work with, and I very much commend you guys, because you guys, did the...
We're just lucky to have an organization like the Children's Network of Southwest Florida in our community, and we need to embrace that and be proud of that. How can the community support the work that the Children's Network of Southwest Florida is doing?
So honestly, just volunteer. I mean, if there's parents out there, moms out there, dads out there, join one of the events and stuff on Facebook. If you go to the Children's Network Facebook page, events will pop up there monthly for the moms and for the dads, and hopefully what we cohesively tie together with the peer recovery unit as well. So volunteer, come and join, kind of expand that community. Funding is always a huge thing. We work with, you know, United Way, you know, Catholic Charities. There's a number of, you know, places that, you know, could use the more help, the better. So finding volunteer and just build that community.
What are some things you wish that the Children's Network could have done in your unification process that may not have been done?
That's really hard. So, because I've had different experiences with different caseworkers, you know, there's, so I think if anything, more support as the family being together as a whole. You know, the process, it always starts with the individual. I had to work on myself, he had to work on himself. But the end goal was for all of us to be together. So I think we got a little pushback of all of us being together, you know, because we were both addicts. I can understand we could be the downfall of one another. But with the time that we were blessed with to work this case, in the end, we were able to show them that we were able to come together after working on ourselves and to be with our children. And it's, you know, it really is just bittersweet. So.
Yeah, we're here at this moment. Paul, I know you didn't know that when this whole process started, that one day you would be sitting on television talking about it. That was not in the cards on the paperwork. you're a good sport, and you're out here and you're doing your level best, and you're doing a great job. Question for you is, other parents that may be going through a situation like you guys are going through, what advice would you give them, encouragement, that there could be some goal or pot at the end of the rainbow if they just keep the faith, like you say, and do what's necessary?
I think first of all, they need to soul search, find out what they really, look at themselves and see what they really need to change. And then have the willingness to do so, and be humble enough to ask for it. Because the quicker you ask for it, the quicker they'll start working on the resources you need to get, the help you need. So, so I think surrender, being humble enough to ask, let down your guard a little bit and trust these people, because at the end of the day, they're not trying to just steal your kids from you. They're just trying to make you healthier to raise your kids in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Ofelia, let's put a nice little bow on this. We're wrapping it up. Yeah. Just this whole, where we are today, and from the day when they first connected with the Children's Network of Southwest Florida, we've arrived to this point here today where we are on the, big time award-winning TV show, not a podcast. Just kind of reflect on this and reflect on all the parents who are out there who want to get back with their children, and give them some encouragement along the way.
Honestly, just that it can be done. She's so right that it's just not often that you see, especially two parents in recovery fighting addiction, doing it. So for both of them to be in that same state of mind and just so committed to the betterment of their own lives, committed to their sobriety, committed to having that good life for their children, it can be done. It can be done. Mm-hmm. And we're here to help you, and there's no judgment on it. Everybody has their past, and we're here to help you get where you need, for sure.
Well, what a great show. Again, the heroes in our community, the Children's Network of Southwest Florida, and certainly parents like you who have overcome all of the obstacles right now. It's still an ongoing journey. I want you to know that we're proud of you in our community, and we look forward to those children having a great time. They're looking at their parents on TV now, and everybody's just hunky-dory. So remember, Miami might have the oranges, but the Children's Network of Southwest Florida Reunification Department has got the
juice.
We'll see.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello, everybody. You're looking at the spectacular Naples Botanical Garden. If you enjoyed that last show, just hit on our subscribe button down there and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can catch all of these shows. We've done about 20,000 shows over the many years on the air, 33 years, the longest running television talk show in South Florida's history. Also, you can catch us throughout the day on MyTV,